Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, he has years of brutal training from a borderline psychotic sensei. It's Shane Beauregard. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, buddy. I'm ready to rock and roll.
I know, again, we're so blessed this time around because I think the last time we covered Daredevil Born Again, the first season, you showed up on this podcast when we weren't doing video, only really for my benefit, basically, or for a screenshot where you had the Daredevil helmet on, the whole mask, the gear, whatever. And now you have the shirt, which is good. We're still on the video, but it's funny that you scaled back now that we're doing more video.
I know, and I thought about breaking the helmet out tonight, but I'm like, maybe if it's worthy, I'll do it for the finale as we wrap up the season.
Right.
So I figured I'd come out a little slower out the gates.
Well, and I remember you had some issues with that, with like communication, like maybe overheating.
We did. Yes, I definitely overheated.
Yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah. So I'm fine. I'm fine with just a t-shirt. Looking good as always, sir. I appreciate the effort as always there. We are going to do a Marvel-based episode today. We are going to kick it off with Daredevil Born Again. Its season 2 premiere happened last week. They'll be having their second episode this week, so we will talk all about that. We're going to talk some Marvel television special presentation stuff. We're going to talk about some show renewals. We're going to talk about new movie trailers, and we will talk about the chess match between Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3, and now entering a third party that might make everything get a little clearer. I'm looking at you, Jumanji. So we will talk about all of that, but we will start with, as noted, Daredevil Born Again, Season 2 premiere. Have some interesting new characters coming in. Matthew Lillard being one of those that we'll talk about as far as like prominent new pieces, as well as some characters coming back in maybe different roles, different forms. We are back in Fisk's mayoral NYC world. We are in the anti-vigilante task force world. We're, feeling like almost like modern ICE and a lot of parallels with those type of things. We have still some PTSD to deal with, it seems like, from the first season, with, even still stuff reeling from Foggy or other attacks from the first season. I will say that you messaged me after you watched it, and you were trying to tell me that it was like more encouraging than stuff, because I had a lot of issues. You were a little better with it, but we both had issues with season 1. And now coming into season 2, I started to see some early reviews of just the episode. Like for a minute there, IMDb had it at a 9.7. And I was like, it must be the greatest premiere in the history of things. I think it's still sitting like at an 8.8 or something. But then I watched it. So now I want to kind of talk this out, Shane. So you kick us off, because you seem to maybe again be a little more bullish than me.
Yeah, I compared to last season's premiere, which I enjoyed a little more than you did. I was encouraged by this episode. I really was. I thought tonally it was a little different. They got away from like the effects of, like, I remember you saying the steam and the vents. They kind of dizzied it up a little bit or something, and they got
it looked
away.
Completely sound stage,
right?
Very broad lighting. Like it didn't have the look and feel of a Daredevil.
Correct. And I was encouraged by this episode. Right off the bat, I like the way they use his other senses with the camera work, where they're like zoning in like sonar to like whatever specifically he's kind of like hearing, which they never done before. I kind of like the shaking of the camera there. I like this setup going into this season a little bit more. Now, I don't know how much time jumped from season 1, like where we saw Karen and Murdoch there, dealing with the task force and realizing he's got to bring in more people. They need to change their approach. But I still like the dynamic between him and Karen. They seem to be getting along fairly well now. Like they're back to where they were in the
I
Netflix
think that's probably
series.
my favorite thing about this season is just seeing those two familiar faces on the same side trying to accomplish things again. That I
Correct.
think I like the best.
Correct. And this episode was kind of a slow burn setup episode until we get to like of course, the final, he's trying to save his cop buddies where we get the
Right.
action in, which again, I like the action and, we'll get into the bullseye things. I like the way it ended because we don't know
Yeah.
his motive now. The things going on with Fisk, I'm like, okay. And then we get Matthew Lillard's character, which seems interesting. I'm all for that. I don't know where they're going with the swordsman angle. I don't really care about that, to be honest with you, or the psychologist,
Yeah.
trying to like send him into the hole.
Yep.
Those
Don't care.
ancillary characters I could still care less about. I just want them to keep focusing on Karen Page, Matthew Murdoch, Kingpin, and all that. And I really, honestly, the only part I still don't like is the whole on the street footage with the BB stuff reports.
Yep.
It still kind of takes me out. Like I know what they're
It's
trying
not
to
paying off.
It's not paying off. I kind of know what they're trying to set up there, but I'm not into that buy yet. But as far as action goes and the way it's shot, it kind of has more of that Netflix feel right now. And again, and I think I told you from a reviewer that watched, most of the season, he said the first 2 episodes are kind of slower paced, and then it's like bing, bang, boom, here we go.
Right.
All said and done, when I got done with this episode, I'm like, okay, it's still not Netflix, not even close, in my opinion. But at least to me, in this small sample, I'm more encouraged from what we saw last season 1 premiere.
Yeah, I still think it just lacks a certain level of grit and just even like we talked about, in prior seasons, all the kind of the religious iconography, like the background of Matt Murdock. He just seems very different and not in like this, like maybe he's hollowed out from years of doing this or anything. It just seems very superficial, and he's not in this episode quite a lot at all. He's mostly just kind of, he has the big ship scene and then, a little bit of action stuff at the end, as you noted as well. But in between, he's like small conversations, kind of just reporting, and there's a lot of fluff. And you mentioned the ancillary characters. The big thing I took away from this episode, and again, it's a lot to maybe ask, but usually premieres, you hope that they're setting the tone, and do a better job of kind of setting up the season and what it's going to be like. The show is still not strong enough outside of what you were asking for more of. It's not strong enough outside of that. All those side characters, I could give a rat's ass. And Matthew Lillard, it's early. I'm intrigued enough. But again, small, not a lot of stuff extra going on. Why is he up here from DC? Who summoned him? What's going on? Well, and we could talk about that because it seems like who he was. There were discussions on the phone in that scene, everything else, where Julia Louis-Dreyfus might be involved and everything else. Again, I don't know how to feel about that. I enjoyed her in Thunderbolts. I didn't enjoy her up to that point. So it's kind of this back and forth. So we can hammer that out if you want. But I just think at this stage, his psychiatrist, ex-girlfriend, girlfriend, whatever, don't care. Don't care at all. Her PTSD, don't care. That whole thing with the swordsman, don't care. A lot of the just what Fisk is doing is very, I don't know, like cloudy. It's not sharpening up right now. Like we kind of got a better view of it at the end of last season, but I don't feel like they advanced it much here besides like that he's got bigger weapons and now has larger clientele, maybe if DC's getting involved and Matthew Lillard is. So it's one of those things of like, I'm not encouraged. I don't fully care, but there are just like a little sprinkle of things where I'm just like, you telling me about what the reviewers who have seen ahead go. I'm like, if I give this to like episode 3 or 4 and I'm still not impressed, I'm still bored, I'm just probably out. because that's a long road to just be like, whatever. And I'm saddened by that because I trudged through the entirety of the first season, which by and large frustrated me to no end all over the place, including something that we'll talk about here where we haven't seen a return of Frank Castle or anything else, which was used in the first season. So, but now we're going to get Bullseye back, seemingly. And what is that going to look like? Because they were at odds. Now it looks like they're on the same team for a moment. Let's start there, man. Like, are you encouraged by how this ended to maybe to have a look ahead to be like, that's an interesting team up, at least?
Yeah, I am. I like the very end scene where he throws his knife and takes care of the, anti-task force squad
Yeah.
for Matthew Murdock. Now, I don't think Murdock or Daredevil knows it's a team up quite yet. I think we're going to dig into like what's Bullseye's ultimate motive outside of they both have a common enemy now in Kingpin,
Right.
which would make sense. So I like, again, I am encouraged, and maybe it's my fandom bias towards Daredevil where I'm giving it more leeway or rope, obviously. And also, and I've said this before, I think it's because the Netflix series was so pitch perfect. It's so perfect all around.
Yep.
I mean, that's just a lofty goal to live up to, man. So I'm trying not to come out the gate too harsh on it. I'm trying to give it time to breathe. And, in my head, it will never live up to what we got on Netflix. But do I want it to get close? Yeah. Absolutely. But again, my most enjoyable parts of the episode was the Karen Page stuff. I want them to focus more on that aspect, like you said. And I can't hammer. I could give two toots about the ancillary. And I don't know how I feel about Julie Louis-Dreyfus' character coming in. Like,
I just think we keep adding layers, and I hate the bigness.
I don't want too many other characters added because you already have enough that I could care less about. Like, I don't want you to add to that pile. So she's just going to always be a voice over the phone. Like, are we going to see her at this point? Like, we know we're going to see Jessica Jones. It's coming up. I don't know when that's going to happen. And I'm hearing crazy stuff like, oh, we're going to see Iron Fist. Like,
I heard that too.
So we don't know what we have in store. At the end of the day, though, like, just give me the crux of Kingpin and Daredevil with Bullseye and Karen Page, and like, give me some good action. Just like layer it with action and at least make it more entertaining than the first season. And I'll walk away saying, you know what? Okay, like a decent effort this time. So
yeah, I just need a motivation. Give me something to where I'm like, I see where this is going, and I see where they're gonna, meet at the end of the day. How a lot of these people, like, I'm hoping that Jessica Jones doesn't show up just to be some like, hey, remember this? Remember when this worked for a bit? Remember the whole Defenders thing? Remember this? I don't want that. I want like her specific skill set makes a lot of sense to add to something that is currently going on that I'm interested in. Jessica Jones is one of my favorite characters. Like, I loved season 1 of her show too. I thought that was excellent. So, season 2 was a letdown for me, but like, and even then I like the Defenders stuff. So if you could tease me with trying to get the band back together, that helps too for everything. I just want it to count. I just want it to make sense. I don't want it to be just another thing. How much did I complain about when they brought Frank Castle in? And I thought it felt like an echo, a phantom version of what the Netflix version of Frank Castle was, which is why we need to talk about the rest of this stuff. But, they keep it's so funny that I feel like they are wanted to distance themselves and be so different from the Netflix one. But meanwhile, now they're just like, we need to add all this Netflix stuff, all the old characters and all the old people who played them and all this continuity. But Lord knows they just don't have the style and substance of those perfect seasons that we loved going before they got to this point.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I didn't expect Punisher because it's well known that he's not in this season 2. But I did expect like for them to like call him out or mention like Castle by name or something like that because he's so heavily involved, especially with the anti-task force got the end of season 1 that at least would get like a shout out or a carryover of some sort. It's like he doesn't exist anymore. So it's like, well, what happened to Frank Castle? Like, just mention it, like something, like.
Is that confirmed that he won't be in this season at all?
That's what I heard.
So maybe we can move on that just real quick, unless you have like some extra point, feel free. But so now looking at the schedule going forward, part of the reason why my curiosity peaks with Born Again season 2 is that the things coming up all kind of are clicking together kind of all around Frank Castle, because you have The Punisher One Last Kill. This is a Marvel Television special presentation, much like the, what was it, Werewolves at Night?
Yep.
The black and white thing that I really liked.
I
liked
too.
that a lot.
Yep.
Never watched the colorized version. Didn't care. I liked the way that they shot it. I was in. But this one's going to come out May 12th. This is co-written and directed by Ronaldo Marcus Green, who directed King Richard and We Own the City, a very prominent director. This is co-written also by John Bernthal, supposedly. I don't know if that's, sometimes that happens when they add lines or ad lib and there's enough stuff that they end up giving them a writing credit, or whether he was heavily or more heavily involved in the writing process. I'd be interested to find that out myself. And then, we see, we'll talk about later, the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer where Frank Castle's in that movie. And people kind of, have this speculation thing going on. Are we going to see a piece in Born Again? Are we going to see then more from One Last Kill that now will bleed into Brand New Day? And do you feel like the dominoes are there? Because if you think that he's not going to be there, that takes one of the puzzle pieces out at least.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of the Punisher puzzle piece at this point, because I did hear that he wasn't going to be in this, but I also heard that when it comes out May 12th, it's going to coincide because Daredevil's ends on May 12th as well. So they're releasing them. And I did hear that it kind of ties into the end of Born Again. So Right. And if you listen to Bert now, which he's my boy, and he said this does have like the Netflix feel to it. It's gonna be very ultra violent, like the Netflix show. Now, do I fully believe him? No. I don't.
Honestly, I could give a rat's ass about the ultra violence. Give me a good story.
Yeah.
How about we start there? Give me something interesting.
I guess I'm going back to like the way Netflix set him up. Like, I want that. I want that version of Punisher. And that's why I'm skeptical of him in the new Spider-Man Brand New Day, because it's like we're gonna get a watered down PG version of the Punisher. Like So I'm like, man, I like my Punisher rated R. Like, and again, to your point, I don't need him like ultra violent, but I want that gritty, that just cussing the Frank Castle persona amplified. And I got a feeling we're gonna see that in One Last Kill, right?
One Last Kill.
Last Kill. I think we're going to see more of that, but then you're going to transition to the Candyland version of Frank Castle. Like, how does that work? I don't know. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, how do you fit him into like tap dance between gritty and cussing into like what he's going to be, again, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about the one shot. So that's gonna be a great day TV for me. I hope could go right from Daredevil right into Punisher. Let's go. Like,
I am hoping for that for sure. And I wonder, like, because we're sitting here. It's about to be April, this week, so we're like 6 weeks out, and yet we haven't seen a trailer. I wonder if they're going to delay things because of how maybe closely tied it's going to be to some of the storyline stuff with Daredevil that hasn't happened yet. So I'm like, are we going to get just like a mild teaser anytime soon? What are we going to get? And I think that's going to tell maybe a lot of things, but they got to do something because I mean, they just announced this date and this is pretty close to when it's all going to happen. So I don't know. They got to get some buzz going. They got to get me buzzed. Yes. They got to get us involved, right? That's what it is. Which, by the way, I'm a little, I understand why. But does every show need an official podcast now? Are we all just going to take our jobs away? Like, isn't AI coming for us all anyway? Can you just leave the podcasters? We're all about fandom, and we're just trying to do our jobs here. Just, I don't know. They already have a press day. Do your thing. You don't need to take everything from that as well. Looking at you, HBO. You do that a lot too. But Wonder Man season 2 is now confirmed. So like that's a show that actually did well. You enjoyed. So maybe you could take the floor here because supposedly season 1 writer director Destin Daniel Cretton will return for season 2 supposedly, but just understand that he is also in pre-production on a second Shang-Chi movie and an adaptation of the Japanese anime Naruto after he's already going to have to go through press because he is also the new director taking over for John Watts on Spider-Man for Brand New Day. So is this going to be a while? Is this going to be like where it ended? Are you encouraged for a season 2? I believe you said like they needed a season 2.
Yeah, because they kind of leave you in a cliffhanger mode in a sense.
Yeah.
I guess now that I'm reflecting on it, let's just put it this way. I would have been disappointed if they didn't announce a season 2 because
Okay.
you spend all season 1. And for those who didn't watch it, I would recommend it, give it a watch because it's a different type of Marvel show altogether. Like altogether, it's so different. But it worked for me, especially the pairing of Ben Kingsley and I'm gonna butcher his name, which I'm
Yahya Abdul-Mateen III.
Yeah, there you go. Thank
Love
you, sir.
that guy.
Thank you, sir. Them two together are magic. And Ben Kingsley they're so good together. And you get this journey by Simon Williams in trying to step into this acting world. Because that's what the whole first season is based on, is he really wants to be a legit actor. And
Right.
he hides his superpowers, which we only get like one scene or two scenes of him using his gifts. That's it.
Right.
Like he hides it throughout the entire show because they have a lot of stuff going on where enhanced people cannot be actors. They actually have a whole episode on why that happens going forward. Like cannot have it.
Right.
It's a funny episode because it has the guy who plays Olaf. I forget his name. Voices Olaf in Frozen.
Over Frozen?
Josh Gad.
Josh Gad. Yeah.
He has a great cameo in that episode. It is so funny. So I was encouraged. It's weird and different. It took me like 2 episodes, like really, like you know what? I'm kind of liking it. And then he steps into his own in that last episode, and it's like, damn, like where do we go now? Like he's fully embraced who he is, and it's like, where do we go? And if they would have ended it like that, I really would have been kind of mad for a while. So, God, I want to see him step into Wonder Man and be Wonder Man.
Sure.
So when they announced it, I was happy. I was like, all right, that makes sense. And get everyone back on board and let's see where this goes. Because they don't really give you a sense of what direction they're going into. They just, as a character, he comes full circle. And it's like, what adventure are they getting into now?
Yeah. And I like that it's kind of self-contained onto itself, too.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to show up in this, too. And like connective tissue to this, and this. I like that it's isolated. In fact, that's the kind of thing I heard about the Punisher One Last Kill thing a while back, and I was kind of like, oh, that'll be nice because if it's a special presentation thing, that'll be self-contained too. And now it looks like maybe not. Maybe it's another piece to bridge certain projects. Whether it's Daredevil and Spider-Man and everything else. So that's interesting. I like the fact that Wonder Man is kind of in its own world because they took a chance on it, and now, it looks like it's going to be a success going forward. So that'd be good.
Yeah, the only connective tissue they have is, and I forget the name of the government group that was in Spider-Man Homecoming that was trying to take down the Vulture. That's the only connective tissue that you have.
Right. Yeah, and that's plenty.
Yeah,
and it doesn't really have to fully cross over with that too.
Correct.
So that's good. Yeah. Speaking of Spider-Man, and speaking of, like I mentioned before, Destin Daniel Cretton, there is a trailer out for Spider-Man Brand New Day. We have John Watts bowing out, as I mentioned. Destin Daniel Cretton taking over. He did Shang-Chi. He did Wonder Man. He's done a lot of encouraging things, and I mentioned his upcoming projects as well. The plot is 4 years after No Way Home, a forgotten Peter Parker lives alone as a full-time Spider-Man until mounting pressure triggers a dangerous change and a powerful new enemy emerges. We do see Frank Castle as the Punisher in here in a scene on the road, kind of shooting back and forth, almost like there's like a tank in between them. There's a whole kind of, I don't know, melee in the streets there that they're a part of, while also having fun banter. So that's cool. Bruce Banner, as not hulking out in his regular form here, just being a professor, it seems, is in there as well. We also get a new villain in Scorpion, although kind of sort of not new because he was featured in Spider-Man Homecoming. He is played by Michael Mando, who many people would know from Better Call Saul, or from obviously when he premiered in Homecoming. Sadie Sink supposedly is a part of this, although we kind of talked off mic where it's like you sort of see her, you sort of don't. Some of the stuff tips that maybe she will be Jean Grey from the X-Men in this as well. So there's a lot to chew on, but I'll kick this off by saying I really like the tone of this. I like where this particular franchise is. I like the story of what they've laid out. I think there's more to it, which is beautiful. And I like that we have to kind of come in from a reset, which is good too. So I think it kind of freshens this up nicely. And then, of course, like the action and everything else that's involved, I do like this as kind of like a fresh start for everybody, hence the brand new day thing. But it's good to have that for the fan base as well. So where do you fit with that on this one?
Kind of the same thing. I took away, like, they give just enough away. The scene where he's rescuing people, I've heard that's like during the Thunderbolts, like the Void. He's trying to save people from the Void, which would be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, sure.
You get the Punisher scene, like you mentioned, but like it's kind of established, like he knows Frank obviously because he calls him by his name. So
yes,
when did they meet? Do they meet in one last kill? Like, I kind of want to know backstory on that. That's why I didn't want to give it away when we were talking about that earlier. It's like, he knows him. That's why he web slings him in the mouth because he was about to cuss. And it's like, go home, Frank, is what he tells him. And so they know each other. I like the street villain. Like, we know Scorpion is going to be in there, but obviously there's going to be a bigger villain involved. So like, I'm fine with them keeping that under wraps. And we get a younger version of the X-Men. Like, we're going to get a young version of Jean Grey. There was a quote unquote rogue sighting on the bus that was in the trailer. There's a young lady with the rogue style hair. So, if that's going to be the platform to kind of introduce officially mutants into the Marvel universe, I think that's a good way to do it. So yeah, I'm excited, man. Like, the Spider-Man franchise is a really strong franchise. I loved or really liked all three movies. And like you said, it's been enough time away. The story seems fresh. It's a good launching point going forward into, down the road and see how this ties into the Avengers. And of course, we have questions like, why isn't Banner like Smart Hulk? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Why is he teaching all of a sudden? Like, what's going on? He's got the little thing on his wrist. Like, is that controlling something that he can't hold? Like, maybe I don't know. Like, we don't know. But I've seen enough where I don't want to see another trailer for this movie.
Absolutely.
I think
I'm with you on that.
I'm good going forward. I'm excited about this movie. I'm really excited about this movie.
Yeah, smartly designed for sure. In the fact that it gives you a lot while not, giving you this overwhelming plot synopsis, like giving you every beat where you feel like you've already watched the movie. I agree. Unfortunately, you and I go to the movies so many times, especially for we're going to be sitting here, coming up in probably for Mandalorian Grogu or something else, to where we're going to probably get a new trailer so they can put, big Spidey on IMAX screens and everything else to like bring it there. But I don't want to go full, like, close your eyes and cover your ears or show up late or whatever, because I like to see the other ones, but it will bother me if it's like maybe too much as we go forward with it.
I will say this: if that happens, and I see this Tom Holland, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom, and I'll come back in when it's over, because I really do not want to see another trailer.
Yeah, just bring your earbuds, whatever. Just like pop them in, put the horse blinders on, just look at your phone, whatever. It works for me, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I am encouraged on this too. I think as far as like what's coming up for the rest of the year, this is probably the one that I'll be bummed out if this one is bad as far as Marvel is concerned. Because we do have Avengers Doomsday, but we kind of talked about in our post-Oscars thing of like, man, that little banter thing with RDJ and Chris Evans just made me take a cringe look at all this. And, from what we've seen, all those like slow motion character trailer teaser things didn't do anything for me. So I don't have any strong feelings at least, towards whatever Avengers Doomsday is. And now we're seeing a chess match. We can end on this, Shane, it currently is set to premiere on December 18th. Everyone seems to know that Dune, because Dune Part 3 had their trailer confirming the date, big old bam, December 18th, premiering on the same day. And now if you look at, like, say, IMDb, it lists Avengers Doomsday as expected for December 18th. And I think if you look at any of the trailers of it, always just goes December.
Yep.
So I think they're really up in the air still. And it's weird because I read several articles and a lot of them were just like, well, we know that Dune Part 3 is going to have the IMAX screens, the large format screen, excuse me. And they put out a thing saying we are comfortable to start our run without the IMAX screens. And they're Marvel. That they their audience may want it, may like it. Maybe it'll be limited, who knows? But at the same time, they're still going to get their money on this because a lot of people will still just go see it in other formats in a more standard way. But now Jumanji enters the picture here, where they were supposed to be the week before on December 11th, and they have now moved their premiere date to December 25th, premiering on Christmas Day. So that leaves an option for Doomsday to go back a week, get IMAX for a week leading into the Dune 3 premiere, and get a little bit of money, a little bit of steam before they ram headfirst into Dune Part 3. I guess my question to you is, one, do you care about any of this? And two, what would you prefer? Because, we still have the lexicon of Barbenheimer.
Yep.
I think having two massive movies out at the same time is just going to create this buzz all year that I think we're just going to be like, this is going to be the greatest weekend ever, like that kind of a thing. Do you think that sours it if they move off the date?
I do. Especially that Marvel came out and said, yeah, we don't care that they got the IMAX. So Marvel just put theirs on the table. Like they just whipped it out. Here we are. We don't care. We just don't care. Yeah, we're Marvel. Yeah. I will say, if they don't change their date and it comes out on December 18th, Andrew, we're in for a long day at the movie theater. Better pack a lunch because we're talking we'll probably be there for 8 hours. Like, not even kidding, folks. Like, the rumored runtime for Avengers Doomsday is like at 4 hours, I think I read.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
That can't be possible.
I'm not kidding. And then Dune Part 3 is going to be at least 2.5.
Oh, at least. Yeah.
Right? So, honestly, I want to see this going out. I think both IPs will make their money. I really do. I think people that see Dune is going to go see Avengers. I think people that go see Avengers will go see Dune. Yep. I feel bad for Jumanji because what the hell? Just get out of the month entirely. Just move to January or something. Like, come on, man.
Well, I don't know. Like, is the Jumanji audience tied? Like, it's probably more closely tied to the Doomsday audience than they are the Dune Part 3 audience.
Absolutely.
So if they move back to the 11th and give them 2 weeks before, I think Jumanji will be fine. I mean, those things tend to print money too.
Right. I just wouldn't want to be a Christmas week because I just think Dune and like you say, come out before those two movies come out. Do not come out a week after because the buzz is going to be so hyped on those two movies. They're just going to steamroll the entire month. I guarantee it. If it's good, I'll see both movies twice. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially the Christmas corridor. How many times we talk about it, how, between the Oscar plays and those last minute, like we don't imbibe anymore, but like what Avatar did this past year, where it made a truckload of money from the end of December all the way in through January and into February practically. So this will be that version of that. So I will absolutely see it more than once, especially, I mean, I know it's unfair, but Dune Part 3, one, kudos to you for getting all the IMAX stuff early to put them into this position. And also that trailer is amazing.
Yes.
So I am pumped for that, especially with Robert Pattinson looking like Rutger Hauer.
Yeah.
Sort of like almost looking Blade Runner, creepy, blonde, bleach blonde, freaky Robert Pattinson being that version. So I'm all in for that. So this is going to be an interesting time. And I will say that just remembering the Barbenheimer thing, there were like special event stuff where I saw Barbie like a day or two before even the Thursday premiere, and then ended up seeing, Oppenheimer over the weekend. So it's not hard. They spread these things out. They're going to do it regardless. And as long as you don't care that you don't see both in IMAX, there's no conflict here. I don't care. They don't need to move it.
Nope.
And in fact, I don't know what comes out before that in December, because I would just say somebody else is doing backflips if they're not going to get smacked by Jumanji, I guess. So if there's something else big, I'd have to look. But yeah, I think that whole month is just the end of the year box office is going to crush with those three movies.
It's going to crush. Yeah, the only thing that's got me nervous, if these two movies live up to the hype and I see them on both days, at some point that day, my pants might actually come off in the theater. So I'm just putting it out there.
For sure. No, I'm with you, man. It excites me. And that's why I said I agree with you. I would prefer them to be keeping their dates. I'm seeing this and I think it's not going to happen. I think they'll want that extra week of the large format stuff. They'll say something like, "Oh, this is for the fans. We need the fans to get the biggest experience they can." Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. But yeah, I want that experience. I want that hype, and I want it all the way through the end of the year, because I usually have more time to watch movies because of the holidays and everything else. So I'm all in on those type of things. And who knows, my kids will probably want to see one or both of the kind of more family-ish ones, those two. So I'll be at the movie theater with them too. So it'll just be a huge, huge deal with that. So I'm excited. There's a lot to like here. I do still am apprehensive with Born Again, but hopefully it all just does kind of click together, especially if we're talking Defenders or at least elements of it and everything else. So I will hang tight, and I hope you all will too, especially if we're going to keep covering this going forward, because, Daredevil himself here, Shane, will definitely keep watching it.
Yes, I will.
And keep me abreast. Be like, "No, man, you got to keep watching this." I'll be like, "Screw you." And we'll go back and forth. It'll be fun. Be sure to subscribe to either us on YouTube if you're a video person, or on Spotify or Apple Podcasts if you are an audio podcast listener. And be sure to come back next week. We got many more things to come here on Recent Activity.